Hello and welcome to No Load Time, episode 32. My name's Obed, and with me is the most interesting man in the world, Joel Young.
What's up, No Low Time? What's up? Good to be with you again here.
Yeah, how you doing, Joel? I haven't talked to you since pretty much last week, man. What's going on?
Yeah, man. Life's going good. Just pretty busy time, which you think after the holidays, things just kind of getting back into the swing of stuff. Just been busy all around. So just didn't get to do anything too interesting over this weekend. I did, aside from rewatching Flashpoint Paradox, which I think I've mentioned before on the podcast, that animated feature. It's really, really good. It's based off the new 52 Flashpoint storyline that they had done. So the animated features was really good. So I just said, I've seen this like maybe 4 times. I'm gonna watch it again just because. And so it shows you guys I'm not just a Marvel fanboy. I like DC too. But I really enjoy their animated stuff. So that was something, I guess, like something that might be interesting for our fans. If you guys haven't seen it, I do recommend you check it out. It's a really strong Flashpoint Paradox.
Yeah, I think most of those DC animated features have been pretty good for the most part. I think I would say 95% of them have been pretty solid.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, there's always a hit and miss here and there, but for the most part, they're pretty enjoyable too. Yeah, I have a few floating around. I just haven't gotten around to watch them, but I do have Flashpoint and the two Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah,
Around.
yeah, those two are really good. Though I own those two, but the one that I also recommend, I think that's like a sometimes gets not recognized is Justice League War. That one was really good. So I remember watching that just before I saw the Justice League movie because I was like, why not? But Justice League War is a really good one. Dark Side and has all the Justice League members in it, and it's really good. But
Cool.
what'd you do, man?
Not much. I hurt my back again. So you guys don't
Uh,
want to hear about that. So I'm a little loopy with the pain drugs right now. But it was pretty bad. But I'm feeling a little bit better today. My throat's not doing great because of the weather changes, but other than that, doing all right. Joel, I've got to spend a few hours. I want to say around 6 hours with Street Fighter Five Arcade Edition, which is basically the update that for Street Fighter Five that came out last week. So I was able to download everything beforehand. Um, I had purchased season two. I only briefly touched it and played a couple of characters. So now I'm actually going back and playing this. And Joel, let me tell you, man, they fixed it. Like
oh, great.
it's a phenomenal game now. I mean, it was good before if you were into the competitive side of Street Fighter, but now it's a complete package. Now the arcade modes that it has it's very robust. They do offer, it's five different arcade modes for actually six different arcade modes. So they basically what they did is they split the cast on all generations of Street Fighter. Taking aside Street Fighter Five, when you play arcade mode proper for Street Fighter Five, you have all your Street Fighter Five characters, basically the entire roster. If you go back and play, what you get is you get the actual feature for Street Fighter Five arcade mode, but then you have different arcade modes for all the other Street Fighter games. So you get an arcade mode for the original Street Fighter, 2, Alpha, 3, and 4. And what it does is that it filters out the roster on to characters that are more pertaining to that story, that's that timeline for where those games take place, and it gives you anywhere from 6 to 11 matches depending on which one you're playing. So it's very good, and I was surprised to see that they went back and they redraw all the, and it's basically a snippet, it's a screenshot. But Udon Comics went back and they redid all the endings, like all the endings for Street Fighter 2. for all those characters are redrawn by the guys over at Udon, and same with the Street Fighter 3 um, endings. I played one of the alpha. I played each one. I can't remember the one for alpha. I don't remember which character I used. I think I used Sakura, and then it gives you basically Sakura's ending for Street Fighter Alpha 2, but redrawn on Udon, comic style. So it was pretty awesome, man. It was a good time. I played it a lot. I went online, Joe. I went back online. I couldn't resist.
Yeah, I think I saw some posts from you on social media that you were back on there challenging some dudes.
Yeah, so well, it has. I did the two challenges that I had available. I did the Shinakuma challenge, and then it had a Rashid challenge that goes for a beautiful Joe costume for Rashid. The one that everyone was talking about was the Shinakuma challenge because everyone was saying that it was really hard, and I actually got it, or I did it on my second try. So
Wow.
it wasn't that hard. It's just you need to figure out what the heck he's doing, and then you'll get used to it pretty quick. And he does a lot of damage, so that's the only problem. But I went online. I actually played just one set. I lost the first set. I was like, man, I'm not really feeling confident about this, but I have a better ground game than this dude. So let's do a rematch. So I won the other two rematches. So I won the entire set. And I was like, all right, that's good for me. I'm happy. I felt the adrenaline going back. I'm gonna put it off for now, and I'll definitely go back because the changes that they Capcom actually made on the game are phenomenal. I think this game is now the complete package for Street Fighter fans and casual players because now it has everything available for you, especially if you buy the physical version for $39.99 and you get season 1 and 2. You don't get season 3, but you still have over 20 some characters that are available for you if you do the physical version. So highly recommend it if you're into fighting games. I didn't see any graphical differences. Like they touched up graphics here and there, but nothing super crazy. Still doesn't support HDR. It still doesn't support PS4 Pro graphics wise, but it still looks very good. I mean, it's still a very sharp looking game, and I like it. I mean, I liked it from back when I was in it. It's just that I fell off really hard after a few months. But now that I have a reason to go back and actually see those endings and go back online, I'm really enjoying the Ken's new V trigger. They added the Shinryuken again on V trigger. Doesn't do a lot of damage, but it's really flashy and it's cool to see. So I like it. I like the changes. I'm approved. So if you guys want to get into it, now it's the time because there's a lot of players. I mean, I got onto a match right away. So
Nice, nice.
pretty
It's
good.
good to hear that you're back, Obed. It's been a while and you got
Yeah,
back in, and you might have lost your first match, but the two following you won. So I'm proud of you, man.
yeah, and the. It's funny because the title that I use, and I've forgotten that this is the title that I picked for myself. It's the title is it's a little bit rusty. So that's my title, and it's like that's me. I'm not a little bit. I'm super rusty right now, but man, once I plug in my fight stick and I was able to jump in, and I was like, all right, my combos kind of still works, and just adding some of the new features and new balancing that they did really gave this game a second life. So I'm really happy with the changes.
Fantastic, man. That's great.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty sweet. I mean, it's gonna be short lived because Friday, tomorrow, man.
Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, that gonna get that knock on the door from the UPS guy, and there goes my weekend. So we'll see how that game is. I'm really excited. Reviews out there are very positive. Also, Monster Hunter reviews are incredible. I don't know if you saw any.
I have.
Yeah, like 9.5 from IGN, a couple of perfect scores, a couple of 5 out of 5s. So either way you go with that, with Monster Hunter or Dragon Ball Fighter C, man, that's not going to be an easy decision to make. If you can't do both, yeah, go ahead. but if you had to pick, it's rough because they're both great games.
Nice, nice. Yeah, but the pockets might be hurting for some gamers, but it's good stuff. We need that. We need that competition in the market. It's a good thing that you have two good games coming out at a time. We need that consistently.
Yeah, yeah, and that looks like it's going to be 2018. Pretty much across the board. There's pretty much a big release every month. I know that things are going to shuffle a little bit with, and I didn't put it on my topics today, but Joe, but Anthem got delayed till 2019,
Mm,
TBD date in 2019. So EA and BioWare are very cautious, especially BioWare. They said that it's like if this game doesn't make it, pretty much BioWare is done. So they're playing it very
wow.
cautious. And they just announced it that the game got delayed from fall 2018 to TBD 2019. So we'll
Wow.
see where that goes. But Joel, just moving right along, man. Just a quick leak that got out this afternoon. What's up with Captain Marvel?
So I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's a spoiler because it's the internet, right? Like it's bound to come out there. But I've been on the record of saying that I truly believe Captain Marvel is going to be in Avengers 4, and yes, it's been confirmed that she's in the movie. She was spotted on set yesterday, and then today, officially, an image leaked out of her in the Captain Marvel costume. I say her, I'm saying Brie Larson, the actress playing Captain Marvel, and so she her in the full costume is leaked. Obviously, it's not the way Disney or Marvel would like it to come out because they want to have the nice polished, proper way of introducing how the character is going to look and who they are and what have you. And she wasn't announced to be in the movie. It was just speculated by people like myself. But yeah, so her costume came out. I think the thing that a lot of people are having trouble with is they're saying like, well, her costume is essentially very green from the pictures at least that we see. Um, people are saying obviously Captain Marvel, at least the newer version, she has this, shorter blonde haircut, and then she's got the red and blue, with the gloves or whatever. This Captain Marvel doesn't have any of that, doesn't have any of those colors. Her haircut is, kind of like shoulder length, kind of like a Black Widow-ish, like how she's had it. I think a little bit longer. Yeah, like the insignia is the exact same as Captain Marvel. I think this is the thing that some fans need to wait is like, let's wait for an official thing to come out. There's still time that she'll wear her traditional costume, and I would prefer for that to be in her solo movie, which is probably where we'll get it if they're not going to do it in Avengers. She has a different costume maybe in this movie. And another thing too is that it's possible the reason we have this greener color look is that it's paying homage to the original Marvel, who is the alien who actually she gets her powers from. Long story short, that she works with. So it's possible that maybe she has that green costume because Marvel wore primarily green. So I think there's enough time and wait it out. I don't think it's time to pick up your pitchforks if you're really a traditionalist by any means. And you look at the Marvel movies as they are today, they're definitely respect tradition, but they also are their own creations. And I think they've done successful so far. So let's give it some time,
Yeah, I saw it, and I don't take any issue with the costume design itself and her haircut. All that's fine, but the colors kind of did. It's like, wait, this is a little bit off, and like, I'm not super familiar with Captain Marvel, but I know the character, and I know that uh, her other costumes are way more revealing than her current costume, and this costume looks very. I don't want to use the word safe because that's not the word I'm looking for. But it's one of those English is not my first language kind of thing.
It's very basic is the wording I would say.
Probably it is because it looks more like soldier gear more than an actual superhero costume.
Yep.
Yeah, so it looks very different. I mean I like the look. I'm still not a big fan of the color. Maybe by the color being used green, maybe that means that she's gonna have like changing colors on her costume. You
Yeah,
know,
true,
because
because of special effects.
yeah, exactly. So we don't know. This is like pictures that were taken off of like an iPhone or something, or so we never know what's the exact quality of the color, or maybe this pictures got leaked on purpose and they recolored it. You know,
True. That's a
that
good
could.
point too. I mean, I don't think that's the case, but it's possible. I gotta say though, like my first reaction to the color was like, oh, it's a little Power Rangers a little bit, but no, I'm really not concerned. Like I said, if it is gonna be green, it's probably gonna be paying homage to Marvel, the alien, Kree alien. So it's possible for that reason, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Joel, and in a bit of bizarre sort of news, what's up with this Paul George and PlayStation Nike shoes that are coming out?
Okay, man, I didn't know this was coming at all, but Paul George shows up on the game over last weekend. They were playing against Cleveland, I believe, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it was so cool to see that he was rocking the announcement of these new PlayStation PG2s, or I forget the name now, these new Paul George sneakers, but they basically were PlayStation themed. They had the Paul George insignia on one, and on the other, the PlayStation insignia. And then not only was that with the insignia, but the shoes actually glowed too.
Yeah, they light up.
So they light up. The batteries are not replaceable. So if you buy these very expensive shoes, do note the fact that your battery could die off, and then they won't glow anymore because you can't get them replaced according to the distributor. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting, really cool thing to see that out there. That it's rocking some PlayStation shoes, man. I know we all love PlayStation, and it's cool to see them being represented out there in basketball and sports.
Yeah, I like the eyes for the shoelaces are the colors of the buttons, the PlayStation buttons,
Yep.
and it has that purple stars design, similar to a uniform of another team that I'm not gonna mention, but very similar to that color scheme. Um, and I believe they're coming out February 10th, and they're $110, so they're not super expensive, but they're probably going to be hard to get. So
Absolutely.
yeah, so it's pretty cool. And Joel, we finally got a release date for God of War, man.
April 20th.
Yeah, get hyped. So I think that's going to be my other big purchase this year. Going to be God of War right after. I'm going to buy. Like I said, I'm going to get Dragon Ball, and I'm gonna get Dissidia, and I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm probably gonna go in for God of War when it comes out, because from what I've seen of that game, it just looks phenomenal. And I actually haven't watched the last trailer that came out when they announced the release date.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't seen it because I don't want to get. I've seen enough.
I was gonna break it down here on the show with you, man.
I heard it's really good, and I was like, I heard it was so good. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna watch it.
I'm just gonna say, man, that he's it's interesting to see Kratos as this father figure. Like it's really fascinating, and like him having to hold the secret of like being a god. Like that's the part that I think that's gonna be really cool, like for his development of his relationship with his son in the game. But I won't spoil any of the cool stuff in there. It's a cool trailer, and I know this game is gonna be one of my big purchases. Like you just said, the same thing. Assuming Spider-Man this year as well, it's gonna be a huge purchase of mine. But I'm really excited for this game, man. I know that with the pre-order, you get like these 3 special shields or whatever with it. So I might try and pre-order it soon, so I know it gets delivered to my door. And yeah, I'll be playing God of War when that comes out on April 20th, which is not that far away.
Not that far away. And they also announced the collector's edition. So that, of course, comes with a really nice, set of goodies there. Statue and some other stuff. So that looks pretty nice too.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be a big game, a big year for big games, and this is just the beginning. So this is the first big one we're gonna get. After this, man, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna get a release date for Spider-Man at E3.
Yeah,
It would make sense.
yeah. So like, I'm sure you heard about the email that was like floating around. The name of the company, forgive me, it's escaping me at the moment. That's putting this game out.
Oh, Insomniac.
Insomniac. So I guess like there was an email that went around where like they sent out to some of like the internal employees for like starting for the New Year's, and like they was listing out what games were coming out for the year from them. Spider-Man wasn't listed on there, but I guess like at the end of the email it said something about like Spider-Man 2018 or something like that. So like it's on the list, it's just not saying what date. They're probably waiting for that to be a grand reveal, just like with God of War.
Yeah, and I think they're playing it safe too because Sony, the track record they've had, normally when they schedule a game for the fall, if their sales are solid throughout the year, they they usually push it back at 90 days. That happened to Horizon. It happened to Infamous. It happened to this this past year now. There was another game that had the same thing where Sony is like, oh yeah, this is gonna be the game for this year, but then they delay it and then it comes back. It comes out like later during the year. So
Yeah.
Sony kind of does that. So I'm interested to see if PS4 as a platform continues to be selling well. They may postpone it, or maybe they'll just release it, on the fall because they haven't released a big fall game in a while. So this would be great. This would be a great opportunity for them to just come out with a great game right before the holidays, get people excited, bundle it with a pro, and have people go crazy.
I agree. Perfect opportunity. I think this is the year to put it out. If they have it, if they feel confident enough in the product, I think this is the year to put it out. There's no reason to delay for marketing purposes, so long as your product is ready.
Mhm.
Yeah, E3 is going to be interesting this year, man.
Yeah, pretty exciting. One of those things that I wish I had the opportunity to go to. So, anyone listening, hook us up.
Yeah, flight tickets, we'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and Joel, there's a bit of news from Square Enix. Remember, this was not last year. I believe it was the year before. So this is going to be going to the second year. Square Enix announced that they are working, or the guys that did the Tomb Raider games over at Eidos Montreal, or that Square Enix team, was working on an Avengers game that was going to be like an open world-ish adventure action adventure game in the same vein of Tomb Raider. So we finally got some news this week that the game has progressed significantly, and they've added two pretty big guys to their development team. They are adding the person that was the director for Uncharted: The Lost Legacy. Just the name escapes me. Oh, there we go. Sean Eskig, and then Stephen Barry, who was with EA/Visceral, and he left Visceral when EA closed the
R.I.P.
studio. Yeah, RIP Visceral. Um, so these two guys joined the Square Enix team to work on this Avengers project. I'm really excited. I mean, Stephen Barry, I believe he was in charge of some of the um, artwork design, some of the designs. He actually worked on Arkham Origins, of course, Dead Space over Visceral, and the first EA Battlefront. Um, but Sean Eskig, man, Uncharted Lost Legacy was a damn good experience. So I'm really excited to see what he brings to that project.
Yeah, I never played Uncharted Lost Legacy. I really should. I've just been so busy, but everyone tells me I gotta play that. But the names, even if you don't know the names of these individuals they brought on board, you know the name of the franchises that they're connected to, and I think that's enough of a positive and significant sign for us to say like we've got faith that what they're gonna put out there is gonna look good and it's gonna have a strong story. With the success of Marvel at the moment, like when this announcement came out, it was no surprise, but I love to see how serious they're taking it, that they're making progress in the development of this game. We have no clue what to expect, and that's just the way I like it. I want them to surprise me. This announcement was a surprise. Now I want to be surprised with what progress we hear about the direction they're taking this game. What storyline. It's. I just imagine it's going to be massive. Like, it's going to be a lot to take in. It's probably going to be something that I'm going to spend significant amount of hours playing. Yeah, I mean, is there going to be multiplayer? Like, all these, there's so many different things that I fly through my mind when I'm thinking about the what ifs with this game. We could be here for a while, just considering, what it could be, because we just don't know. But I'm very, very excited because of the names that you said yourself that are involved in this. You talk about, the Uncharted and other games. It's just good news all around.
Yeah, it's a great studio. I mean, they really showed what they're capable of with both of those Tomb Raider games. Both of them were excellent. So just adding this type of talent to that team and into a Marvel project, that's going to be, I think that's going to turn out really, really good. I'm really curious to see what is it. I mean, based on what I've heard, the playable characters are Cap, Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor. So having 4 playable characters on an open world sort of action adventure game, and featuring Marvel characters, sign me up. I'm really excited for that. But I really want to see something. It's been almost 2 years and we haven't seen absolutely anything. So I'm confident that this would be either a GDC showing or for sure it's going to be D3, because they need to start putting this thing out there.
Yeah, well, whenever we get some type of a story reveal or trailer or what have you for this, it's gonna be pretty amazing. We'll take our time to really digest and see what this fully means. Like you said, we don't know, but I mean, those 4 playable characters, if those are the characters, that's great. I mean, they can build off that with DLC, I'm sure, like down the line, throw in a Captain Marvel or something. But for a game, that sounds very intriguing to me.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see where they're going to go with this. So good luck to that team, and we'll see where it goes. Joe, big movie news. So Oscar nominations are out. It is very interesting because most of these movies are not your typical Oscar bait type of thing. So you want to go through the list, or you want to talk about some highlights?
Yeah, I just want to, I think the thing is, like, the Oscars is something where most of the movies are like, the mainstream audience, they've heard of the titles, maybe they're not familiar with what these movies entirely are. You're fortunate if you bump into someone who's seen one of the Oscar nominated movies typically, because they're not for the average movie going audience. They're select art, and I understand that and respect that. That's how it's been. But this is an incredible year because I said before, my movie of the year for 2017, the movie that really hit me hard, was Logan. I thought that was the best superhero movie to come out last year, and I still feel that way today. So I was really hoping to see it get nominated, but I said to myself, it's probably not. Like I said, Wonder Woman's going to get something, and Logan's probably not. I was wrong. Wonder Woman got no nominations, but Logan did, and it got for adapted screenplay. It got a nomination for the adapted screenplay. Perfect. It makes sense. I know there was a lot of people. The expectation was if it wasn't going to get nominated, it was going to be Patrick Stewart as supporting role as an actor. That would have been fine too, but I could see why they didn't. I think it could have gone either way, and I understand. They decide not to go with that. Sure, there's plenty of other actors on there, I'm sure, that deserve that. But to see that it actually is getting recognition as a movie that I feel very passionately about, and I can spend at length talking about the elements of this movie, I'm happy to see it getting recognized. Now, the other thing that's interesting is, like, usually with these movies, like, they get nominated for visual effects. Marvel did get in that. Guardians of the Galaxy 2 is nominated for visual effects. That makes sense. Like if anyone's seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, it's visually just great.
It's
Like you
phenomenal.
look at the percentage of like not real stuff and it's just green screen or just added in effects. And most of the stuff these guys are working with is just, some very small few props. And you're not taken out of the movie for CGI. A talking raccoon, like I hope it shakes it up and we maybe see an upset. Maybe it wins. Probably War for the Planet of the Apes. It's in the same category.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's some of the main stuff. I mean, Star Wars got 4 nominations. I think that movie is better than most people give it credit for, but mostly it's for music, sound editing, original score, the visual effects as well. But yeah, interesting stuff. I'm not surprised that Patty Jenkins didn't get nominated. I think that would have been the only thing for Wonder Woman. Maybe adapted screenplay, maybe. But like Logan, but I think Patty Jenkins would have been as the director, like just for her solid execution. But I'm not up in arms over it. I think there's an argument for her to have been and for her not to have been, and I respect those who feel both ways.
Yep. I saw, and I'm probably gonna get grilled for this, right?
Oh,
Flame shield up. So here's my take on the people that were really upset about Wonder Woman not getting a nomination. So I heard a lot of people saying it's like, oh, but Suicide Squad got a nomination or won for makeup or something or
yeah,
costume
makeup.
design, makeup, right? Yeah. So it was like, oh, and it got. It was like, well, if you go back, if you sit down and you watch Wonder Woman, right? There's nothing makeup wise that's mind blowing. Everything is pretty standard with the exception of Dr. Poison. Everything else is very, very standard. The special effects are not fantastic. I mean, that last sequence, that
Yep,
last battle sequence with Hades,
yep.
it's not great. I mean, it's fine, but it's not. I mean, it doesn't even touch what Guardians did.
It
You
looks a
know,
little bit like a video game when she's jumping around back and forth and then back to human again. If you watch it again, you'll recognize.
yeah, and you can definitely see those flaws on when you watch the movie. Um, adapts a screenplay, possibly that could have been one.
Yeah,
But there were way better movies that did it way better than Wonder Woman this year. Director would have been the only one because like you said, Patty Jenkins really poured her soul into making this movie the best movie that she could make uh, for Wonder Woman, and that would have been one that she could have won, but for some reason, she got snubbed. But I don't understand why people are upset about it. It's like, oh, when it comes to like costume design maybe
yeah,
because
that too.
when some of the costume design in the movie is pretty good. Again, it's not mind blowing, but it's good. So that movie did everything good, but it didn't do it great.
That's the thing. Like the it's a very good movie, and there's nothing being taken away from your experience. I think the movie's a must watch, and it's great. But you breaking it down exactly the way you did, I can't argue that. Like from my personal opinion, it's like I think the only one I kept saying is like maybe adapted screenplay. Like that's maybe, but but director was the only one that I said okay, if they gets in, it's gotta be director because of the flawless like execution of taking a screenplay and then giving us a solid movie. There's plenty of movies that have great scripts and the movies are trash, so it takes a good director to bring it to the forefront, the way she did. But like no, and this is no knock on Gal Gadot. Like I'm not coming down. I think I wanted her to be Wonder Woman when she was on the short list. I think she's fine, but like she wasn't going to win Best Actress or be nominated for that. No one was talking about that. She's very new to acting. She's going to get better. I think if she got nominated, it'd be the same if Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor, they play the characters. You envision them as the characters. You love the characters. They're doing great with the characters. But I think like it's nothing like maybe some of the other people who probably nominated who, this is some really transformational, crazy, stuff where they really are the characters. Like I think if you're talking about superhero movies and you want to talk about like a transformational, like, this person, like you see them as the character because of how well they deliver when they're in character, would probably Robert Downey Jr. Like he probably could win an Oscar. I would argue, like in Civil War, especially, like there was an argument there. The dude was like flawless. You would have thought he literally was at war with Captain America in that movie. But that's a whole rant for another time. But yeah, I mean, I understand the Oscars, and I'm happy to see Logan get recognized. I think that bridges the path for some more successful other superhero movies to be recognized even more than just visual effects. Now it's for their story too, so I'm happy with that. Oh, a side thing I wanted to also mention really quickly was the cinematographer, best cinematographer. The lady that's nominated is the first female to be nominated for best cinematographer. But the thing that's really fascinating to me that's like, okay, cool, she's being nominated for this, cool, it's the first lady. But what gets me excited is that she's actually the cinematographer for Black Panther. So that movie's going to look really great if this lady wins an Oscar for best cinematography and she does a cinematography for Black Panther. So that movie's going to look great.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that. That's great. And shout out to our boy Guillermo del Toro with 13 nominations, man. Shape of Water. Yeah, Shape of Water doing phenomenal. And I think like he said, it's probably the first monster movie that's being recognized like this. That maybe in the last 100 years, maybe, because I'm assuming that whatever was done back when the Universal movie monsters were out, and when Lon Chaney was doing his own makeup and coming up with this crazy characters that he did. So I think that this is the first time in a very, very long time, and I mean it's decades, that a monster movie, as he calls it, which I haven't watched the movie, but that's what he calls his movie. It gets this type of recognition, and I'm really happy. And I know Hideo Kojima is really happy with his buddy.
Death Stranding, so it's looking better.
Yeah. Now he has an Academy Award nominated director on his game. So, man, this guy's bringing it. And then we still don't know what the female character, who she is. I mean, there's still very strong rumors that it's either Emma Stone or Scarlett Johansson. So we'll see.
Oh boy, yeah. We'll see. I both of those ladies are very talented. So
yeah. And one thing, Joel, real quick, that I forgot to mention when we were talking about Square Enix, Yuji Naka, the creator of Sonic the Hedgehog, and he also programmed. He was the head of Sonic team up until 2006, and he also did Nights for the Sega Saturn and some of the Amigo and a lot of this cool Sega games from back in the day. He had left Sega. He made his own studio called was it Pulse or I forgot the name of his studio. I'll double check it. But he left the studio that he formed and joined Square Enix, and he said that he's going to be developing again. Probe was the name of his studio, and he said he's going to be back into development. So he told the fans, "It's like, hey, I'm going to get back into development. I'm not going to be doing this business thing that I was doing." So he's going to do a comeback. So we'll see what he can come up with over at Square Enix. I know that Square is looking to expand the reach on both consoles and now PCs, and then of course mobile market is really big for Square Enix. So I'm really interested to see what Nakasan's next project is. So I'm hot for that too.
Nice.
Yeah. So just a quick tidbit of news that I totally forgot to talk about when we are talking about Square Enix. So I was going to segue into it, but then the Oscars happened. So, and Joe, the last last piece of news that I have is, I guess there's something going on the Overwatch League regarding how players are behaving. And based on what I've read, um, the league itself did not have a code of conduct ready, and it's still not posted. So, like, player behavior is being managed by team owners and not by the league. So everyone's all over the place, and then dudes are making racist jokes online. So it's up to the team managers or the team owners um, to work with that sort of situation. But I guess the Overwatch League, the only thing they told the players was don't be jerks, and left it at that. So I don't know, man. To me, that's a big flaw, because in order for you to have a professional type of environment, you definitely need to have a code of conduct, and you need to have a player's manual, or employee guide, or something in that nature. Because these guys are not just on Twitch anymore. These guys are playing legit professional now, and in doing so, they need to behave as professionals. So, big flaw when it comes to that in part of the league. But I've heard some of the team owners already have their code of conduct in place, and they're enforcing it. So, what do you think of all this, Joel? Do you think they needed more time to come up with this, or were they just being lazy and not releasing this info out to the players?
I definitely think it was a lazy effort. I think like that should have been something like before you even before you even say that we're going to even approach having these players professionally join the Overwatch League. You should have had a code of conduct policy fully developed, so that way you understand what your identity is as an esports organization. These are not just gamers; these are professional athletes now. They're playing as professional individuals representing the league and these owners. Now, what's interesting is, according to some reports, they say that these guys did actually sign some type of policy or code of conduct, but it has not been released yet publicly or posted publicly for us to examine. So there is something that they have agreed to. The belief is that maybe that was from another, there's another esports sub league that had a policy in place already, that maybe they kind of borrowed from there. It's fascinating to me because the owner also makes a statement of saying that we don't want guys to be jerks, and we're working on having this thing out. I've just been busy. It's just not been a lot of time that I've had to put this together. To me, that's a little bit of an excuse, and I'll go as far as say that. But I think this is a learning opportunity. At least the growing pains happen early. I'm not trying to come down hard on them by any means, but it is an important thing because you want that proper representation. You don't want guys making any type of derogatory, discriminatory comments about people for any reason. And so to be taken seriously as professionals, as athletes, as an organization, you've got to make a clear code of conduct that everyone is held accountable to, not just you coming across as if you're cherry picking. I don't like what you said. I don't like what you said. Behave. This is not a childish thing. This needs to be handled very, very seriously. And I think it will. I mean, I have the confidence that, with this kind of PR coming out there, that we'll hear very soon of this code of conduct coming in place. But it is a sad thing. Like you said, is it a laziness? My part, I believe it is.
Yeah, and when you look at other professional sports, say you would look at the NFL and the NBA. Say, for example, they complement each other, right? The league and play in the ownership complement each other, where the league has its rules code of conduct rules that the players are aware of, and the team itself, coach and people in charge of the team have their code of conduct as well, and they work in tandem and they complement each other. But in this case, it was like some teams didn't even have a code of conduct. So when they went to the league and the league didn't have one, then these guys go out unpunished. And
Right.
and when that happens, that's a problem. I believe that these guys are, as professionals, should be held accountable for their behavior, and should be also punished, suspended for one game or whatever, cut on in salary or whatever the case may be, right?
Mhm.
I'm not sure what the ins and outs of Blizzard's contract with his players are. So there has to be some sort of you know uh, uh, consequences for the actions that players may have, especially when they're now getting this much exposure. Like before, they could have been just a Twitch streamer that was very good and was just doing his Twitch thing, but now they get exposure. Now these guys are on ESPN, and now these guys are on Fox Sports and all over the internet. So now that these guys are a big deal, they need to start behaving as so. And I'm a strong believer of accountability. So this guy should be held accountable. And Blizzard, this is something. I mean, coming up with this sort of code of conduct is not hard, right? There's esports is not new. This has been going on for at least 10, 15 years as it's been growing. And I'm sure that they could have reached out to, I don't know, Riot, and Gunna's like, hey, what do you guys do for your league players in regards to behavior? And they could have reached out to other uh, um, esports companies out there and been able to get this resolved. So just leaving it to the team ownership is not enough. Ownership is not enough. They really need to come up with a solution for player behavior. And now that these guys are getting exposure, some of the things that I saw were not super egregious. Some was kind of sort of offensive. To each his own, right? I'm not recently offended by a lot of stuff, but not everyone's like you, right? You have to get in the position of like you can't be so arrogant as to think that I can get away with this because it doesn't offend me, because you don't know who's getting offended by it. So to the players, if you're listening, guys, behave. Keep it civil. Don't throw slurs or racist memes out there. Just take this opportunity to grow as a professional. That's probably the best advice that I would give to one of these guys. So
That's good advice, Obed. It's good
yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. For my part, Joel, I really don't have anything else. Just a quick shout out. Not for everyone. So not safe for work, and don't watch this with your mom. I've been checking out Devilman Crybaby on Netflix. Yeah, man, it's freaking brutal. So this is based on the 70s manga and anime Devilman. So Devilman is it's a kind of like a cult superhero. It wasn't very popular in the West. I knew of Devilman because I love Mazinger Z, and as you can see back here, this guy's like this guy, and this guy's back here. So, and Go Nagai created Devilman, so I knew because there was a crossover between Mazinger Z and Devilman. There was a movie, so I knew about Devilman. So this thing comes out on Netflix, right? It's TVMA. I heard there's like, oh, you gotta be careful watching this thing. I was like, so I watched it. Yeah, it's very, very violent, and it has some pretty graphic sexual stuff in there too. So don't watch it with your mom. I warned you, but it's really good.
Oh man.
So it's really good. Like I really like where the story is going. I'm 3 episodes in. And this is some of the best written anime that I've seen, and sort of disturbing too, because it does have some disturbing stuff in it. So they're really pushing the limit on what you could put on Netflix, Joe. It's kind of intense.
Well, I mean, Netflix has had some very they have had some mature stuff, but I mean, this is a different medium altogether. Yeah, I definitely not for someone like me with convictions, but yeah, I mean, it's Netflix is putting out a lot of different stuff more recently. I was gonna simply highlight it here at the end of the show. Was that we're now under 100 days until Avengers Infinity War. It's coming. I know we covered a bit there with Captain Marvel and some other stuff, but 100 days. Black Panther's right around the corner here, so soon enough I'll be out there watching that, pre-buying your tickets. In fact, it passed Civil War in Marvel Comics pre-buy sales. So there's a big hype on it. I mean, it comes out in Black History Month, so we'll continue our conversation on that as it comes out and comes near, because I'm not watching any trailers, TV spots. I heard there's a clip that was released online. Not watching some of the way you felt God of War.
I did watch that one.
Oh, look at us. We flipped it. I watched the God of War thing, and you didn't watch the Black Panther. Wow.
Yeah, the Black Panther stuff that I've seen is really good. So I'm really excited for it too.
You heard Forrest Whitaker's comment recently saying that, yeah, they go to space in this movie. I'm like, what? But I'll take it if it's going to be great. We'll see. I don't know.
Whatever. They probably have one of the Infinity Stones in Wakanda anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I don't have anything else, Joe. It's as always a pleasure talking to you guys. So, Joel, where can everyone find us?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of No Load Time. We want to make sure you guys stay connected with us. So follow us on social media at No Load Time. That's at No Load Time on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. On there, you'll see any updates, on our social media in regards to when a new episode comes out or anything else going on with the show that may need to be coming out. We also want you guys to please submit any feedback you might have. So shoot us an email to noloadtime@gmail.com. That's noloadtime@gmail.com. Feedback, questions, comments, whatever you want. We just love to hear from you guys. So, maybe we'll even bring it up here on the shows we have done in the past. Another thing I want to ask you is if you're listening to us on our podcast right now, you can go ahead and subscribe via on iTunes or Google Play. If you're on iTunes, go ahead and throw us a review. That would really help us out. If you're watching this right now on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. And while you're at it, like this video, drop us a comment in the comments section, and share this video with others. That we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, guys, and I look forward to the next episode.
Yeah, thank you, guys, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of No Load Time.